I'm Shelley Church. I'm currently the board chair of Camp Boggy Creek, and I'd like to welcome all of you here to the Schwarzkopf Society Recognition event. I want to personally thank all the members of the Schwarzkopf Society for your continued support, because it's a very big part of making this camp happen every year. This is a very special year because in addition to the camp's, to the Schwarzkopf Society, we're celebrating the camp's 30th anniversary, 30th birthday. And so we have a lot of It's truly hard to believe. My son wasn't here the first year, but he was here the second year that camp opened, and it's just so hard for me to believe it's 30 years old. So I'd like to warmly welcome a few very, very, very special people, and those are our camp founders. And I'd like for them to stand. Nick and Wendy Massey, and Fran David Horvitz. To welcome them. This is so cool. And we'd also like to honor those that are representing our founding families. The Rossmeyer family here represented by Sandy Rossmeyer, Randy, and Shelley Rossmeyer. And we'd also very much like to welcome the family of General Norman Schwarzkopf, represented by Jessica and Brenda Schwarzkopf. And representing the legacy of Paul Newman, we are thrilled to welcome Paul Newman's daughter, Clea Newman. Class of people today, don't we? So we also have several of the Boggy Creek board members here, and I'd like for you all to stand. These are really hard-working people that do a lot to keep this camp going. I have never worked with a more dedicated board who is so committed to making sure that this camp continues this mission and doing what needs to be done. I'd also want to acknowledge another special guest, Blake Meir, and Blake is the CEO of the Serious Fun Children's Foundation. Blake, and Blake gets it. At one time, he was actually camp director, or CEO of a sister camp of ours in California, so he gets it. So we're very excited to kick off our 30th birthday today. We're going to first, before we do that, take a moment to honor and recognize the Schwarzkopf Society members that are with us today. We obviously have more members than who are here, but we're just going to recognize the ones that are here. We're very deeply grateful to General Norman Schwarzkopf for lending his name to this giving society, which honors members that support the camp each year on a leadership level. He understood how important it was to ensure that the camp continues to serve children year after year, as it takes a committed community of individuals, corporations, and hospital partners willing to make a meaningful financial investment in our mission. And he was proud to help us recognize and organize those supporters. So with the help of Jessica Schwarzkopf and a couple of our friends, we are going to acknowledge those members and with a little token of appreciation. So when I call your name, would you please stand at your seats? And just so you know, in the traditional military fashion of General Schwarzkopf, we have 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, and 1-star. So as you stand, Jessica's going to come over and shake your hand, and we're going to have a helper bring you a little token of our appreciation. So we're going to start first with the 4-star members. American Heart Association, Brenda Miller and Julie Ortez. Hamlin and Associates, John Hamlin. I did not see him. He may not be here. Okay. Rossmeyer Family Trust, Sandy Rossmeyer. Serious Fun Children's Network, Blake Mayer. Eric and Diane Home. Lorraine and Van Conley. And a new member to our Society of the Years this year, Wellboro Building Corporation, Steve Davis. Steve also is a new board member. We're delighted to have him on board. Okay, 3-star members. Trish Flynn. Trish is also a board member. David and Franz Horvitz. Murphy Lighting, Chris Murphy. Two-star, A.L. Melman Family Foundation, Wendy and Nick Massey. Child Cancer Fund, Carla Montgomery. Epilepsy Alliance of Florida, Pat Dean. Okay, make sure I might be getting ahead of people, sorry. Florida International Order of Rainbow Girls, Nancy Newman. Nemours Children's Health, Dr. Gul Devlani. Dr. Devlani is also on our board. We're delighted to have. Another new society member, Pedal with a Purpose, Connor Santo. Seco Energy Foundation, Mariah Delgado and Matthew Rondabush. Tom Coughlin J Fund Foundation, Edie Wright. And York Family Trust, Colin and Jean Meyer York. Okay, and we have 1-star generals, founders, June Clark and Alan Stewart. Many of you know June from her 17 years as our former CEO of the camp, and now she's also a board member, and thank goodness for us, has stayed very, very involved. She's amazing. Mrs. Carol Holick, who's new to the society this year. Jay Jankowski. Phi Kappa Tau Foundation, Evan Ernst. Homer and Allen Charitable Trust, Gordy Allen. Another new member to the Society, Philanthropy and Motorsports, Bob and Karen Moles. And our last member with us today, Sunday Tea Club, Patricia Green and Dot Thibodeau. Let's give them all another round of applause. And thank you, helpers. Thank you. You all did a great job, kept things moving for us. We appreciate it. Your generosity to the camp ensures that this will continue to be a place where children with serious illness can just be kids. So we are now going to transition to our 30th anniversary celebration. As we travel through time, reflecting on 30 years of impact and looking forward to the next child who will need to be at camp. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. I have to say that every time I come to one of our camps, I feel Dad everywhere. So I know he's here and I know he's really excited about this birthday. But a lot of people ask me why. Why did he decide to start building camps? Or why did he start the first camp? And I think there's a lot of pieces that came into play. I think and a lot of people have heard that he felt lucky in his life and that he wanted to give back. And both of my parents were incredibly generous and had been through their entire career. But I think that when he got older, he wanted to kind of focus on one thing. Not completely, but mostly. And a bunch of kind of stars aligned over time. And one of them that I remember vividly was when a very close friend of our family's got sick. And he was treated in a local hospital. And in those days in Connecticut, in Norwalk, Connecticut, at Norwalk Hospital, there wasn't a pediatric wing, so children and adults were treated on the same floor. And every time we went to visit Bruce, Dad would walk down the hallway and invariably, parents and kids would come out to say hello. And he heard from all the parents and the children about how they were missing out on their childhood. And that being sick and being treated in a hospital, they were missing all those incredible things that make kids kids. And Dad thought to himself, I need to create a sanctuary where kids, after treatment, have a place to go for the next part of their healing. He wanted to treat the whole child after the treatment. And that was the birth of Hole in the Wall. And Hole in the Wall Gang Camp was kind of an extraordinary partnership of numerous champions and people. And he brought together, he knew he didn't know everything, but he knew that he wanted to create this special place for kids that could allow them to kick back and raise a little hell, as he always said, and really get back to being a kid and be together. And for a very special time, not be told no, they can't do something. It was all about yes. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can eat that. Yes, we will customize everything. We will create this special place for you with a medical presence that is behind the scenes. You will never see it, but will always keep you safe. And the extraordinary thing, I was kind of watching in the wings in the very beginning. But in the time that most of us, it takes for us to renovate our bathroom, Dad found the property, built the buildings, got on board with Dr. Pearson at Yale New Haven Hospital, and we were serving kids. 18 months, which, I'm trying to renovate some stuff at our house, and it's way past that. And the amazing thing about it was something that had never been done before. And Dad was not adverse to taking a risk. I shouldn't use that word, but taking a risk himself to create something because he felt it was so important. And in a couple of years after that, right, it was incredible. Initially, the first summer, we only had 100, Blake, you'll know the number, it was 148 children?
288.
Totally off. 288 kids. But word of mouth got around, and by the third summer, we started having a wait list. And Dad knew that we needed to grow and that he needed to start finding new champions to help us grow. And within another year or two, we opened our next camp in upper state New York. Then he knew we needed to serve children across, in Europe, and we opened a camp in Ireland. And then the next exciting project was Boggy Creek. And I remember vividly Dad talking about how excited he was about a camp being opened in Florida because he was frustrated that our other camps could only be used for a couple months a year. And that he kept saying to himself, this is going to be incredible. This is going to be a place, because of the weather, that we can serve kids year-round. So that became the birth of Boggy Creek. Let me take 2 steps back. I'm trying to be part of the history, but I'm also trying to tell a little more of a story about myself as well. When we opened our first camp, because I really believe that camp affects all of us. It's not just, and I never want to say just the campers, but Dad used to stress to me how what was amazing about camp is that it was serving the kids, but it was also serving every other person. And every time he went to camp, he almost felt guilty because he was getting as much as the kids, if not more. And when I was going through kind of a tricky time in my mid-20s, he said to me, sweetie, you need to go volunteer. And I said, Dad, I don't know, I'm not quite feeling it. I was the youngest of 6 kids, I didn't really babysit a lot. I wasn't really sure if that was for me. And he said, I think you need to go. I drove into camp. I hate to admit it, but a little bit of a spoiled brat. I'm admitting it. And I left, and then 12 days later, because in those days our sessions were 10 days, I left 12 days later a completely changed person. My whole thought process was different. And I think that is the most extraordinary part about camp. And I know you guys use this often. You can leave camp, but camp never leaves you. And it really doesn't. It changes you as a person. And it changes our campers' lives. And it changed me as a person. And I'm sure every one of you in this room knows what I'm talking about. And so I just want to thank all of you for being a part of Dad's vision and helping it grow and helping it continue to grow. Because you are changing so many people's lives. This year at Camp Boggy Creek, they have served 100,000 campers and families. It doesn't get better than that. So thank you. And I can't wait to see what you guys know for the next 30 years. So happy birthday.
My husband, Nick, and I were one of a very committed group of volunteers who worked on the beginning of Boggy Creek. And we were there when we were looking for land, when we were trying to figure out what this camp should be, and we were there we were trying to figure out what the operation should look like. It was a very exciting time, and it was really all because of my daughter Jennifer, who was one of, I thought they were maybe showing, oh there she is. She was one of the campers who went to the Hole in the Wall Gang camp in the very early days, and there she is. She's the one, I don't know if you can see the color, but she's in the pink bathing suit top, standing close to Paul Newman with a group of the campers. And sending Jennifer to camp, knowing that, you know, she had been sick, and we weren't quite sure that it was a particularly good idea to send a child like her to an overnight camp where we didn't know anything, and to be there for 2 weeks. And so we were really very anxious about it. So first thing we did was, okay, we'll at least just go and visit and see what it looks like. So we took Jennifer, and we took the rest of our family. We saw the camp, and she was like begging us to let her go. Please, please, I really want to go to this camp. And we were like, I don't know. But finally, we did give in, of course, because you always give in to everything that the kids want, right? So reluctantly, we relented. And I have to tell you that at that time, we had no idea what an impact camp would have on her. And what I have to read a little bit to you today was an essay. One of those when you go back to school at the end of, in September, and the teacher says, write an essay about how was your summer vacation? Well, she chose to write about camp. And I want to read to you in some of her own words. It was published front page in the Hole in the Wall Gazette, winter 1989. That's how long ago it was. But anyways, this is what she said in some of her words. I went with apprehension. I returned enlightened, optimistic, and more confident. This summer, I was lucky enough to be able to go to the Hole in the Wall Gang camp. At first, the idea of going to a camp where I didn't know anybody was scary, and I was nervous. But the camp was beautiful. It had so many activities, and I enjoyed every one. However, the best part of camp was making friends and being able to talk with them about my experiences and feelings. It was very reassuring to find out that there were other kids going through the same thing I was, and see that they were still having fun and going on with their lives. I felt relieved to tell my stories because I was carrying around something that I just had to tell somebody. The other campers knew exactly what I was talking about. They understood me. At camp, I could just be myself. I didn't have to hide anything. There were bald kids, kids with one arm, kids with central lines, kids who stuck needles into their legs, and nobody said, ew. Everyone was supportive and asked questions, which everyone else answered honestly and openly. All in all, that week of my life was one I'll never forget. And that is the magic of camp. The Jennifer who went to camp was not the same Jennifer who came home from camp. Before camp, there were two sides of Jennifer. The Jennifer who was a straight-A student, who played softball, who went to parties and danced with her friends, and then there was the Jennifer who underwent countless rounds of chemotherapy, lots of hospitalizations, surgeries, and she never ever talked about it with anyone except her closest friends. So it happened after camp, all of a sudden she was completely open. And she did things like she founded a group of a club at her school of kids, and they were called Memorial Kids. And what they would do was volunteer at Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, and they would go and play with kids and decorate the hospital and the playroom. And she also, at the same time, really started talking to others who were going through these kinds of experiences. And she would swap stories with them, and they would talk about developing different kinds of coping strategies and just how they got through this whole disease journey. And as a matter of fact, one night, Jennifer was on the phone. She got a call from one of her teachers who was also going through treatment. And they talked for a while, and finally, after about 30 minutes, she got off the phone, and I went into her room to say goodnight to her, and she said, "Oh, Mom, I forgot to tell him something." I said, "Well, what? What, Jennifer? You were talking for 30 minutes. What could you have possibly forgotten to say?" And she said, "I forgot to tell him to remember to laugh." And for me, that was it. My 13-year-old child dying of cancer, talking to her 40-year-old teacher who was dying of AIDS and saying, "Remember to find the joy." And that was camp. Camp made that happen. And so, of course, what do we have? We had to make another camp happen. And what happened was we had gone to Connecticut, and I think as Clay was saying, Paul was already thinking about, oh, there should be a camp in Florida because Florida is warm, and the camp could be open all year round, and that would really be able to serve a lot more children. And Jennifer knew that we were working on this, so she was very passionate about it. She wanted to see a place where other children could have really the same experiences that she had. So she talked to everybody she could about it. She talked to David and Fran, our really good friends who have been part of this journey all along. And she really held on to that idea that there should be a camp in Florida. And so we started working on it, and here it is. It's happening. It keeps growing and it's changing in ways that we never could have imagined when we started this journey. It's phenomenal what we see today. We're so proud. And for us, for my family, for Nick and I, for Jennifer's brother Kenneth, for her sisters, this really is an important part of her legacy. It's a testament really to her courage, her strength, her caring, and she really bought into Paul's vision of there really should be a place for kids like her that could have the opportunity to, as he would say, sit back and raise a little hell. And that was what camp was all about. And Jennifer knew that she would never attend Bobby Creek, but she trusted us to make her dream come true. And of course, more than we imagined, it happened.
Everybody say, "Oh yeah!" Oh yeah! My name is Dorcas, D-O-R-C-A-S, Dorcas. Yes, that is my real name. And it is Camp's 30th birthday! It's also Brenda Schwarzkopf's birthday today. Let's say happy birthday to her. She's right there. She's right there. Birthday because we're celebrating a place where we love, where we cherish, and where our heart grows stronger every time we enter its gates. So, first and foremost, I just want to let you know in my journey here at camp, I started in 1997 when I was 17, wink, wink, nod, nod. It was the spring of 97, and I worked for kids who were on ventilators. And I spent a whole week here, and it really altered my life. I found a place where, oh my gosh, this is home. I can act, I can sing, I can dance, and I can be who I really wanted to be when I grew up. Carol Burnett! True story, I promise you that. I just wanted to let you know that through the years of being instrumental in building the foundation and the culture of the programs that are still being served today to our families and to our campers, I witnessed a lot. I witnessed love. I experienced laughter, tears, heartbreak, kids who died, staff who died, kids who lived, staff who lived, and because of their experience as Camp Boggy Creek, they went on to raise a lot of money, to be doctors, to be nurses, to be psychologists, to be social workers, to be teachers, because they experience the passion and the beauty that is camp. We get to touch lives. We get to. Think about that word. We get to touch lives. It's why they come back. It's why they always come back. To experience the power and the beauty this place has to offer. And in return, really, as Clay said, they certainly touched mine. And I carry it with me wherever I go. And I hope you hold on to that too. Because it's the way our ship sails. It's the way we make decisions for the rest of our lives, because we are always forever changed. 57,000 campers in my experience at Camp Boggy Creek, and I left in 2013, came through this sacred place, through that gate to 232 acres of hope, to experience and feel the beauty and the joy that is camp. And one of those people I had the honor of being camp director for, Ruby Wells.
Everybody, it's really hard to follow up after that passionate talk, so I'll try my best. But it's great to be here and beautiful to see all of you guys here today and visiting camp again. So I'll talk a little bit about my own personal story and kind of know how special camp is to not only myself, but all the campers that came through here. So to start off, just really nice to be here to talk to you guys. Being told your child has a serious life-threatening illness is terrifying news that a family never wants to hear. When I was 6 years old, my parents were told, "Your son has cancer." Something that forever changed our story moving forward. The next steps of our journey included years of doctor visits, hospital stays, and medications my family have never even heard of. Life became a bit of a whirlwind after that. Following my cancer diagnosis, we heard about Camp Boggy Creek, a special place for children like me to go to and have fun. My experiences at Boggy Creek nearly 26 years ago instilled in me several special qualities that I can continue to strive to exemplify in my life today. What makes Boggy Creek so special and unique is that the camp involves the entire family in the process. The camp promotes healing by creating fun, lifelong memories during times of uncertainty for not just the child, but their siblings and their parents. The camp goes above and beyond to create impactful and unique experiences for families. It captures the inner essence of being a child. When I was a camper here at 6 years old, my time at camp made me forget that I was a child with cancer, and it made me feel like a normal kid again. One of my favorite memories at Camp Boggy Creek was building little wooden car models that, with me and my sister in the woodworking shop, and then we took all the cars out and then raced them down the track. Today I get to play with these same toy cars with my own nephew, Hayden, and enjoy reliving those memories. It's memories like these that I feel like we take for granted in life. but in the throes of chemo treatments and hospitalizations, it was a memory that means so much to my family because it brought a sense of normalcy to our lives. After beating cancer, Camp Boggy Creek was one of the reasons why I now am a kids cancer doctor. There's something different about the pediatric medical world. It's a community that bands together to help kids and their families who are going through unthinkable circumstances. As a kids cancer doctor, I strive every day to apply the foundations I learned at Camp Boggy Creek to care for my patients. Taking the time to treat the whole family and understand the impact a new diagnosis has on those who support the child, all those who support the child and the child themselves. I work hard to go the extra mile to ensure families feel welcomed by our medical team, and I love having fun playing right alongside them, oftentimes racing cars or making it feel like their toys are coming to life. I want to foster the environment that Camp Boggy Creek did for me as a kid and help my patients forget, even if it's for a few moments, that they are sick. Camp Boggy Creek has and will continue to make a significant impact on kids with serious life medical conditions and their families. I'm excited to see what the next 30 years of Camp Boggy Creek looks like and the next generation of children and their families that it will inspire. So thank you for having me on here today, and so nice to be able to talk to all you guys.
My name is Dave Mann, been camp director from 2013 to 2025. And let me tell you, what a life-changing experience. Now, it wouldn't be fair for all you good folks to leave without just a touch of camp. So here we go, we'll sing a song. I'll say a line and you just repeat it. Ready? Down on the banks of the hanky-pank.
Down on the banks of the hanky-pank,
Where the bullfrogs jump from bank to bank.
where the bullfrogs jump from bank to bank,
With an E-I-O-U.
with an E-I-O-U.
Each sapodillion. That's the sound that the frog makes when he's actually eating flies. If you'll bear with me, because I'm going to challenge you now, let's sing it a little faster. One time. That's all you gotta do. Ready? Down on the banks of the hanky-pank.
Down on the banks of the hanky-pank,
The bullfrogs jump from bank to bank.
where the bullfrogs jump from bank to bank,
With an E-I-O-U.
with an E-I-O-U.
Each sapodillion.
E-I-O-U.
Thank you. Thank you. Magic in this place. You can feel it. I've worked in over 40 different camps, worked for Serious Fun for 20 years, been here at Camp Boggy Creek for 12 of those years, but all the camps I've worked in my life, I was lucky to see a miracle happen once a day, and some of the other camps I worked at once a week. At Camp Boggy Creek, we felt magic and saw magic in action every hour. I knew that this was home for me because the magic lives in everybody here. Where else can you learn how to eat mustard on watermelon? Very quickly, right now, just rub elbows with the person beside you. You hear that? You can never do that without laughter and smiles. Never. Okay, I got one more real quick because I want you to take on some skills today. Put your hands out like this. You know, you've seen this right here. Just put your hands together. Slowly bring it up to your face. Step right apart. Now you have two pointers, one here, one there. Put them on each side of the nose. Now, without removing your fingers from the nose, simply unfold it. And it goes like that. Now, if it didn't work for you, that's a camp secret. When I do it, my left thumb is always on the bottom. If you do it with your right thumb on the bottom, it never works. Yeah, challenge the family the next get-together you have. all the magic that I witnessed at camp, some of the most powerful ones was my time spending talking to dads, because they have it tough by trying to be the person that holds everything on their shoulders and still making fun light with their children. It's hard, and some through tears. I kind of hung out in the smoking section. I don't smoke, but I hung out in the smoking section for it, so I could talk to the dads. The stories they would tell were heart-wrenching. This place makes a difference in a big way. Of all those camps I worked, yeah, we did recreation, we did fun stuff, we laughed, we left. Here, with therapeutic backgrounds, intentionality, we instill the conversation about why we laugh. Through therapeutic models, we instill intentional programming. They don't do that at other camps. And it's amazing to see the smiles on kids. I'll leave with one memory that still sticks with me to this day. On Cabin Road, sometimes we'd have these adventures at night. And one time I got called on walkie-talkie to pick up some garbage beside the road, along the road to the cabins. They said, you'll probably need to bring the bus or a truck or something big. So I got the big mini bus and I traveled down Cabin Road, and sure enough, on the side of the road, about 8 or 10 trash bags with campers inside of them. and 4 or 5 counselors outside, they were just kind of monitoring, said, oh, we're right here, we just need some help taking this trash down to the dumps. So I get out of the bus, I go down, all of a sudden the kids got quiet. You could hear the snicker. You could almost see the grins on their face. They were pulling a good one on the camp director. So I get up and said, well, looks like you got a lot of trash. Where'd it come from? Oh, the counselors jumped in. Oh, we were just doing some things. We had some trash. We didn't get it to the dump in time. They didn't pick it up. Can you help us? And I said, well, sure. I'll tell you what. Counselors, if you don't mind, if you'll load up the trash onto the bus, I'm going over here to this cabin because I heard that there was a light. I'm going to go look at that. So I disappeared, walked around the cabin. I'm peeking around the cabin to see if everybody's got out of their bags, they're on the bus. And then I walk back and, yeah, that light's fixed. Get on the bus. They're still snickering. And it's a big, gigantic trash bag, and they got air holes. They're safe, not suffocating. But you can see some of the fingers sticking out the top. And the counselors were playing it so smooth and so cool, and it was amazing. Well, I said, well, I can't go to the trash dump. Do y'all mind just leaving this at the dining hall? So I drove up in front of the dining hall. I got to go in the studio over here. Do y'all mind taking care of this? I guess they thought that was old enough I wasn't going to want to pick up garbage and trash. So I leave, come back. All the kids now have gotten out of the bags, into arts and crafts, disappeared. The counselors said, yeah, that was really good. For weeks after that, I'd hear parents talking about what their kids said that they did and how clean and fun it was and how magical it was because the kids orchestrated this more than the counselors. It was the kids' way of having a blast with adults. And next morning, oh, we got one over on the camp director. It was so magical as I just grinned, winked my eye. They knew I knew. It didn't matter. It was fun of it. That plus another time I went down Cabin Road where they were doing gnomes when the kids had cones and they had silly outfits and they were gnomes. And as they walked down the road, he just froze. The magic is incredible here. And I don't use the word loosely. It's true, pure magic of what your generosity helps make happen. And the kids are affected for a lifetime. They go home and they make their beds sometimes. They go home, sometimes they're eating a little healthier because they've learned something. But they also got a chance to compare scars, chest scars, as kids talk with one another. Oh, this is going to turn a little darker. Did you just wait another 6 months? That scar's going. They knew each other's language. They helped create the magic as well. And let me tell you, this place hires the best of the best. The qualified best of the best. They do training at the train to learn how to touch hearts. So with that being said, I want you to do one last thing because I want to take another skill home with you. Try this in the home. Your word in this section is hishy. Can you say it all out? 1, 2, 3?
Hishy.
The whole middle section, hashy. Your word is just whoosh. Your word is
Hashy.
okay, let me get myself positioned just right here. Right here. Okay, on the count of 3, all of you say your word at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Hashy.
The Zoom guy.
I'm Jessica Yesbeck, this is my husband Darren, and we are the parents of the former camper, Allie. We can still remember the first time we drove through those gates. It was shortly after Allie's diagnosis, a time when our family was still reeling and living in a world of no. No, she can't do that. No, that's too dangerous. No, she's too fragile. She's too tired. But the moment we arrived at Camp Boggy Creek, the world finally started saying yes to our daughter. For the first time in a long time, Allie wasn't a patient or a diagnosis. She was just a kid. And her world, which was starting to feel so small, suddenly exploded with color and laughter. Over the years, we watched Allie grow from a camper finding her confidence to a volunteer giving that confidence back to a summer pride leader. Today, she's here as a member of the year-round staff serving as the senior volunteer engagement coordinator. To see your child go from the one receiving the care to the one cultivating the magic for the next generation is a gift I can't quite put into words. And it's the ultimate proof that Camp Boggy Creek doesn't just provide a week of fun. It builds leaders, it fosters resilience, and it creates a future we once weren't sure we could even imagine.
People often ask my wife and me why we still volunteer here, even though Allie has grown and on staff. Here's what keeps us coming back. We have poured years into this place. We volunteered at least once a month. Her right here beside me with every chance she gets. We do it because we believe. We believe in the magic that turned our dread into joy. We believe that every scared kid deserves the same yes that we finally got. We believe that, and honestly, even though Allie's long past the camper, we still show up. If it's me driving the airport shuttle for her, hauling supplies, leading games, hugging parents who look just like we did back then. Why? Because it just isn't a camp. It's a lifeline. It is truly a home away from home. We won't stop until every family walking into this camp feels the same shift that we have, from fear to hope. It's our way of making sure that the magic of Boggy Creek is always there, ready and waiting for the next child and the next family who needs it. So from the bottom of our heart, thank you for these past 30 years, and thank you, Camp Boggy, for the magic that you gave, not just me and my family, but to all the other families that have walked through the door. Thank you.
When I say 30th, you say birthday. 30th? Birthday! 30th? Birthday! Did y'all know we're having a birthday party today? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nick Sano, and I'm the current Chief Mission Officer and Camp Director here at Camp Boggy Creek. I want us to do something together. Turn to your neighbor and wish them happy birthday, right now. Turn to that person next to you. And then when you're done, turn to the other person and say happy birthday to them. That's right. Because today is all of our birthday. In addition to camps, we're celebrating here together for the magic that we have created here over 30 years. I want to share a little bit about my story. My story here at Camp Boggy Creek began in 1996. When I was 3 years old, I was diagnosed with leukemia up at Wolfson Children's Hospital in Jacksonville. And through my diagnosis, my family heard about the Hole in the Wall game camp, and that led to hearing about Camp Boggy Creek. And I was fortunate when I was 6 years old, similar to the time that Rudy was, came here with my family for a family retreat weekend in 1999. And I was fortunate to be a camper until 2007, where camp changed my life. It instilled me with confidence and determination that my illness was just one part of who I was, and watching lots of other kids feel the same way. I remember one week was Superhero Week, and I was in the Red Pride cabins, and the counselors did a whole storyline around Spider-Man, because that was the time, early 2000s, Spider-Man movies were starting to be a real thing. And one of Spider-Man's villains, the Green Goblin, would come out and try to, mildly scare the kids. And the counselors worked it up, and at the end of the week, they handed every child, I'm gonna say it again, every child a can of silly string. Yeah, think about that cleanup that those counselors had to do. And when the Green Goblin showed up again, Spider-Man instilled us with confidence to spray silly string and help him web the Green Goblin. And I still think about that. I was probably 8 years old at the time. And now, being an adult, thinking about all the effort that those staff did to make that magical thing happen. I want to fast forward. I had the pleasure of being a staff member under Dave's time. And there was a cabin who had a camper. Her name is Emily. And she's visually impaired. And her thing was Frozen. She loved the movie Frozen. She loved Princess Elsa. And she asked her counselors if they would help her write a letter to Elsa. And so they did. And they mailed it here from camp. And they asked me if I would be a part of helping create something special for her and have a letter delivered from Elsa to her. And they asked the rest of the cabin for help. And her cabin mates helped put on the magic that a letter from Princess Elsa was delivered just for her. And these counselors, they glued fun things like feathers, pom-poms, pipe cleaners, things like that, so that Emily, who maybe couldn't see the letter, could feel some real things. I think there were even snowflakes that fell out, like Elsa had left some Frozen stuff, if you're familiar with Frozen. And they asked me if I would play a temple or castle guard of this city that Elsa was from, to read a letter on her behalf for this camper. And this was magical for her. And her cabin mates never gave it up, that they knew that the camp director was the one reading the letter. And this was the effort the staff made for one kid, one camper that week. Just one. Thousands of campers, tens of thousands of campers have felt that same magic. Because of all your efforts to make this place happen, and our staff's effort to make the magic happen as well. And while we've made magic for 30 years, I'm excited to be here to help us make magic for 30 more. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.
I'm between you and some great Colts barbecue, so I'll be brief. I just want to thank the board. I want to thank all of you for coming today, especially our founders. It's inspiring. I want to thank our staff. When you go out this building today, you're going to see 800 of our closest friends visiting this camp today. And it takes a village to put this party on. So I'm super proud of them. This wasn't in my script, but I don't know why. I've been here 4 or 5 months. So one of my first family retreat weekends I came, and Monday I couldn't even control my excitement about the impact this place has. And it was only my first week. But I go into the dining hall. I think it was asthma or it was cancer week. And I'm just having a cup of coffee, introducing myself to some folks. And I introduced myself to his mom. And I said, happy to have you here. Introduced me to her son. And I asked his mom, how did you hear about us? I was a camper. 30 years. True generational. She is now an ER nurse and is going to be volunteering for us this summer. That's the impact that you all made. So thank you. Nick, I don't know, you got some work cut out for you, buddy. I'm not sure how I'm going to do all this shaking bushy tail and YMCA and all this stuff, but You got your so before we close, I just want to take a moment to share how much I appreciate what has been built here. And to the families, the campers, and especially the staff who bring this place to life every day, thank you. The memories, the moments, the years of believing in this place, it's truly something special. This camp exists because people, many of you in this room, chose to believe in something that didn't fully exist yet. And when I think about that, I think about what I would call faithful courage. Because blind faith doesn't carry you through moments like that. It takes courage. The courage to see what could be, the courage to step forward, and the courage to build something for others long before you would ever see the full impact of it. That's what Camp Boggy Creek is. And that's what this moment feels like. For 30 years, a generation of children and families have been served. And now we find ourselves at a point in time holding what was been built and taking responsibility for what comes next. There will be new campers, new families, and new supporters who become part of the story. People who don't even know about camp yet, but will someday say, this place changed my life. And somewhere right now, there is a child just beginning a journey they didn't choose, who will be in a place where they feel seen, supported, and like they truly belong. What we do today ensures we are ready for them. And as I think about the early days of camp and the dream that began with Jennifer, I think about the promise that was made. That promise has been carried forward for 30 years. And I want you to know this. I make a promise to you that I will work alongside all of you and with this amazing team to carry that spirit forward, to honor what has been built, and to ensure that we are here for every child who needs it. Because this is the 30th year, and this 30th year is a celebration, but it's also an invitation to be part of what's next. So together, we will honor the past, lead with purpose, and be here for the next child, no matter what, I promise.